How every artist that reached the peak at the end didn't have shit. That's a plan. I like Kevin Hart. I see his excitement, his enthusiasm about, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. But it's the plan they have for your bro. That's what you got to get ready for.
Let's do what you do best. Let's go make these people laugh. It's showtime!
Things seem to be going well for Kevin Hart. He followed up a successful comedy tour with a hit movie, Think Like a Man. And his fake BET reality series, Real Husbands of Hollywood, got picked up for a second season. But this past Sunday wasn't a lucky one for Hart because
I got arrested for resisting arrest last night, DUI.
Because the police report says that you were driving in excess of 90 miles an hour on the freeway. You almost hit a gas tanker. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think there's a gas tanker on the freeway, so
what?
Can't truth to that.
Kevin Hart is facing an alleged extortion attempt, which prompted the actor to issue an apology on social media to both his wife and children.
I made a bad error in judgment and put myself in an environment where only bad things can happen, and they did. And I just, it's a moment. It's a moment when you know you're wrong, and there's no excuses for your wrong behavior.
I mean, I feel bad for the guy, but he's at such a high status. I mean, he's the most famous comedian in the world, bro. Like,
we got a little Pump, we got a little Xan. These are also the reasons that your 12-year-old cousin wants a face tattoo. Stop writing on your goddamn face.
Kevin Hart, the legend.
Stop writing on your
legend.
face. It's stupid.
His business sense, he's become an entrepreneur. His LOL, I've done stuff on his new LOL channel. The way he has spread out the work for his crew, his whole crew.
It was actually a male strip club that they shut down for comedy for the first half. It was just supposed to be us performing for these women that were riled up. First thing, I got on stage when they introduced me, and this lady was like, pull it out. I said, hey.
They're writers, he's giving people work. His whole work ethic is phenomenal. But when you're at that level, man, you gotta be careful with your shit, man. I'm sorry. You gotta be careful. And it didn't look good, the fact that she was pregnant too. Like, oh, like that period is like, it's like sacrilege. You have a child. You have a child and you're doing this shit.
Well, Kevin Hart's job hosting the 91st Academy Awards lasted just 2 days. The actor and comedian was announced as the host Tuesday afternoon. But overnight, Hart stepped down following an outcry over previous homophobic tweets. Less than an hour after Kevin Hart's announcement, a reporter posted screen grabs of the comedian's old homophobic tweets. And from there, the backlash grew.
Fame is false. It ain't real. It can be snatched from you. Look at how many stars they build up to beat down. That's what the media does. That's what the world is about. We want to build you up, but then, man, this shit gonna be funny when you fall down. You're no longer who you are. You're who you allow the world to create you to think you are.
Welcome to part 2 of the Kevin Hart series. In part 1, we took a deep look into Kevin's childhood, upbringing, and early parts of his career. In part 2, we will discuss the ups and downs, successes, and setbacks of Kevin Hart's personal life and career. At the end of 2004, Kevin Hart had struck out of Hollywood. Several of his projects had failed to make a mark at the box office, and to top it all off, he owed the IRS over $400,000. With his career in a state of uncertainty and his finances in a state of despair, Kevin knew that his only shot at success was to leave Hollywood behind and go on the road. In an effort to rebuild his career, Kevin joined forces with comedians Bill Bellamy and Cat Williams and went on a comedy tour. Because his movie Soul Plane had flopped at the box office, Kevin was always at the bottom of the bill, and despite each show paying him $5,000, Kevin was only able to perform in front of a small audience, which wouldn't help him reestablish his career. Realizing that he needed to head in a different direction, Kevin hired a new personal appearance agent and built a new team around him.
I said, I'm going on the road. I said, can you put me with somebody that can go and that can give me shows? And Chris Smith was the first guy that I came up with.
Chris Smith is a personal appearance agent right now. He represents Cat Williams and Mike Epps.
And there's no shot to Chris Smith, but Chris Smith, it didn't work out with me and Chris Smith because Chris Smith was putting me in money gigs. He was charging promoters based off of the Kevin Hart from Soul playing in the movie. So I'm going to do these theaters, but out of 1,200 to 1,500 seats, I got 75 people buying tickets for these shows. So the promoters are losing, and before you know it, I'm not a good ticket. Now I'm attached to these other bills where it's the black comedy explosion, and you know, it's the spring bling summer ding, and you know, I'm number 8 on the roster, and I'm like, shit, man. This isn't it. This isn't the direction I want to go in. Like, I don't want this money. I'd rather figure it out. But I said, I'm not building up an audience. I can't walk away and these people aren't going to become my people. How do I build my people? I said, Dave, help me do that. So Dave teamed me up with Berkowitz, who I've been with for years now. Mike Berkowitz, another person.
Mike Berkowitz is an APA, and he's one of the greatest personal appearance agents of our generation.
My guy. I sat down and I talked to him and I said, look, I said, you may not see it now. I said, but if you really believe in what I'm about to tell you and you help me develop this road, I said, I promise you, I will eventually become one of the biggest to do it. I said, but I have to put the blood, sweat, and tears in behind this travel now. I said, I am willing to go to every comedy club in the United States. I sat down with Bert. We had like an hour meeting. Dave was a part of it too. I said, just trust me, man. I am willing to put the work in. Every college, every comedy club. I want to focus and I want to build up an audience that I can call my audience.
With his new team in full swing, Kevin set out to tour the United States. According to Kevin, he wanted to perform wherever he could to help get his name and face out there, while also trying to disassociate himself from the failures of his time in Hollywood. But while Kevin was on tour building his craft and audience, he would get some unexpected news. His wife of 2 years was pregnant. Kevin and Tori had quite a tumultuous relationship, and adding a baby to the mix would only make things worse. According to Kevin, during Tori's pregnancy, the couple fought so much that at one point he moved out of their residence into his own apartment for about a month. On March 22, 2005, Kevin and Tori welcomed a baby girl, and for a brief moment, their relationship seemingly improved. But according to Kevin, once he went back on tour, the toxicity resumed. He claims that Tori incessantly hurled accusations of infidelity at him, but despite Kevin denying them, the accusations were true.
Yes, people, I cheated. Am I ashamed of it? No, I'm not. Do I wish that I could take it back? No, I f***ed up. Don't cheat. Whatever. Now, do I think cheating was the problem? No, I don't. Cheating was not the problem. Lying about cheating was the problem.
While on the road, the truth about Kevin's indiscretions would be kept close to heart. With his wife at home taking care of the baby, Kevin traveled from city to city and state to state, performing stand-up in an attempt to build a fan base. Kevin was determined to make his way back to Hollywood and knew that in order to do that, he needed a solid and loyal following. In an effort to establish a plan, Kevin approached comedian Dane Cook for some advice. In his book, Kevin writes, I met him at the Improv one night and asked him how he'd grown his audience. His answer? By getting email addresses, using the social media of that era, like MySpace, and having the patience to stay engaged in the lives of the fans. When you have somebody who's created a blueprint that's working, all you gotta do is copy it. So my road manager, Nate Smith, and I went to a copy shop and had 3x5 cards printed. As I finished each set, he'd pass them out and ask people to fill out their contact information, email, street address, phone, social media, everything. Then he'd add each person's name to a database for that city. The next time I came through town, we notified everyone by email, on MySpace, by phone. I needed to build myself a following so big that instead of worrying that saying yes to me or one of my projects was a mistake, the gatekeepers would worry that saying no was a mistake.
Dane Cook, when MySpace was big, right? MySpace had just hit, and it was all about the page. It was all about your MySpace page. It was all about, you know, comments and going back and forth. I don't even think it was comments. I think it was your inbox. You had like an inbox, and people could message you. You could message people. And he was just crushing. You know, he was the biggest guy going at the time. And I found out what he was doing was, you know, he had email lists. He had like email lists, and every time he went back to this place, he would send blast out. I'm coming back. And he built this relationship with these people time after time. And as I was coming up, you know, I believe that people give you a blueprint for you to understand and grow from it. Information is free.
Right.
You know, you choose to use it.
Right.
That's up to you. That's your personal cost. If you don't see the value in free information, well, that's you.
Mm-hmm.
I see the value in information. So I started going to comedy clubs, and I had little cards, information cards. I would leave them on the tables. At the end of my show, I was like, fill out the information cards. Fill them out. People would do it. We would come around. I would pick them all up, and I would put a little paper clip on them, and I would put Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would go to my computer, and we would put Cincinnati, put all the emails in. And did that for every city on the comedy club. Now, granted, these are half full rooms. They're not big rooms. But then I'm right back after I just left. So this comedy club tour went like 6 to 8 months. I did them all. All right, it's time to go back out. Let's go the same route that we went last time. Cincinnati, I'm coming back.
Right.
Holy shit, the room grew. Damn, we like 3/4 full. We almost sold out. It ain't selling out. We were like 3/4 full.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, it's like this everywhere we go. And the people are coming back. All right, well, first things first, we got to get new material. You can't
Recycle your
You
shit.
can't come back and recycle. They're coming back. Okay, that's learning lesson number 1. Let's write some jokes. Let's get some shit. All right, time to go back. Hit them up again. More people are coming out, but these people telling other people.
Mm-hmm.
I got a relationship. I have a relationship with this is a fan base. This is the definition of a fan base. I got one. It's growing. I need to be consistent with this. I didn't stop that until social media got big.
Once Kevin put his plan into motion, things for the comedian began to move in a more positive direction. Though he wasn't yet selling out shows, Kevin's name was making the rounds, and due to this newfound attention and recognition, Kevin would receive an offer that not only helped him turn his financial woes around, but it would also incite a years-long feud with one of Hollywood's most notable comedians. It was the fall of 2006, and Cat Williams was set to star in the film Fool's Gold, alongside actors Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey. But on November 13th, Cat was arrested at the Los Angeles International Airport after a stolen gun was found in his briefcase. Cat was charged and later pleaded guilty to carrying a concealed firearm. According to Kevin, with Cat unable to travel outside of the country, he was hired to take Cat's place instead. In his book, Kevin writes, "One day I got lucky. Cat Williams had gotten a role in an action movie called Fool's Gold, which was shooting in Australia, but he'd gotten into trouble with the law and wasn't allowed to leave the country. The casting agents called Dave and said they needed a comedian as soon as possible to play a villain in the film named Big Bunny. Dave mentioned my name, and they asked him to send an audition tape. Dave insisted that they meet me in person. It was the first big role I'd been up for in a while, but I had no experience playing a James Bond-style supervillain. I was desperate to get the part, so I went to a pet store and bought a Big Bunny and took it to the audition. I did the entire Big Bunny scene, sitting in a chair stroking the rabbit. It was a gamble, but the casting agents loved the courage it took and ended up giving me the part."
That was supposed to be Cat movie.
Oh, really?
Yep. And then Cat didn't do it, so I did it. So was Fool's Gold, same thing.
So at the time, they said, okay, Cat Williams can't do it, so let's get the
So you were like
the second next
backup.
funny comedian
I
at
was
the
like,
time.
yep, I'm
At
dead
the time.
serious.
It worked
why you
out.
playing around? I'm very serious. I don't know. Cat did something and it wasn't working out, so it was like, can we get Kevin Hart? And I don't even think they offered it. I don't even think they finished saying what the offer was. Kevin, yep.
Fool's Gold would be a big budget movie and Kevin's second shot at Hollywood. After being turned away and rejected for his previous failures, Hollywood was opening its doors up for Kevin once again. Ecstatic about this new opportunity in his life, Kevin flew to Australia, where filming for the movie was set to begin. But while there, Kevin would receive some shocking and upsetting news. It was the beginning of 2007, when Kevin got the call that his mother was sick. In his book, he writes, "Look, man, Mom told me not to tell you this," my brother began. I braced myself for something painful. "She's sick," he said. I could feel myself getting ill as I heard the words. "She didn't want you to find out because she knows this movie is big for you, and you wouldn't have done it if you knew how bad it was. If you don't come home soon, the next time you'll probably see Mom is in the grave."
It was nothing but laughter until her dying day.
After visiting his mom in Philadelphia, Kevin returned to Australia to resume filming Fool's Gold. Upon his return, Kevin would get 2 devastating phone calls. The first call came from his father, informing Kevin that he had lung cancer. The second call would come from Kevin's brother, informing him that their mother, Nancy, had passed away. This news was a complete shock to Kevin's system. With one parent battling lung cancer and the other losing her battle to cancer, Kevin was heartbroken and distraught. But always the optimist, Kevin tried to find the silver lining in this difficult situation. In his book, he writes, "I never lost a loved one before, but I noticed that I processed it differently than everyone else in my family. I knew that my mom had wanted to stop suffering, and her wish had been granted. It was only us, those left behind, who were still suffering. And we just had 2 choices, to stop living or to go on living. There was nothing I could do except let go of a tragic story and embrace one that served me and her better. So I did. I chose not to lose my mom and instead to gain an angel. In my mind, my heart, and my life, she is still completely present to this day, and as wise, compassionate, and stubborn as ever. She was in a better place. I instantly said a prayer from me to her, thanking her for her love, letting her know that I was in this great position in life because of the lessons she taught me, and promising to continue honoring her by keeping her word. Though the loss of his mother was hard to bear, Kevin's main focus was finishing Fool's Gold. When filming for the movie wrapped, Kevin returned to Los Angeles. Upon his arrival, he would be informed that his wife was pregnant and due in November. On November 8th, 2007, Kevin and Tori welcomed a baby boy. Shortly after the birth of their son, Kevin went back on the road. Despite having 2 kids, Kevin and Tori had a volatile, dysfunctional marriage. According to Kevin, to get away from it all, he booked as many shows as he could and was barely home. On January 30th, 2008, Fool's Gold premiered in theaters and tanked. Critics called the film, quote, "stupid, tedious, and excruciatingly lame." From there, Kevin would have small roles in various films, such as Meet Dave, another movie that Cat Williams was meant to star in. But like Fool's Gold, Meet Dave would underperform at the box office. According to Kevin, these setbacks began to feel reminiscent of his first time in Hollywood. Feeling like he was about to strike out for the second time, Kevin went through a period of depression. It was a trying time for the comedian. His mother had passed the year before, his father was sick, and his marriage was failing. But despite this difficult period, Kevin's stand-up would improve. According to Kevin, the worse things got at home, the better he got at comedy. Eventually, with the help of his team, Kevin had enough material for his own 1-hour special. In 2009, after opening up his own entertainment company called Heartbeat Productions with his manager Dave Becky, Kevin rented out the Skirball Center for the Performing Arts in New York to hold his first 1-hour comedy special. According to Kevin, he gave away all 800 tickets for free to ensure that he had a full house. With a reported budget of $150,000, Kevin took to the stage in his first hour-long comedy special titled, I'm a Grown Little Man.
That's stupid. If he hit me and I go to sleep, who gonna wake who up? You understand what I'm saying?
I'm a Grown Little Man was released on DVD on February 3rd, 2009, after Comedy Central purchased the special for $50,000. Upon his performance, Kevin would be offered the headlining slot at Shaquille O'Neal's All-Star Comedy Jam special. On February 13th, just 10 days after the release of his I'm a Grown Little Man DVD, Kevin performed a 23-minute set at the Comedy Jam special, a set that he says was the push that he needed to get him back into the good graces of Hollywood. In his book, he writes, I was invited to perform for a comedy event Shaq was putting together in Phoenix during the NBA All-Star Game. The night was being filmed for Showtime. I'd done a few other stand-up comedy showcases on TV, such as Comic View and One Mic Stand. They hadn't done much for me, so we figured this show probably wouldn't either. But the producers kept coming back to us, eventually offering me the headlining slot. I folded and agreed to participate. Just before the show began, I stood backstage with the other comedians who were performing, Tommy Davidson, D. Ray Davis, and Cedric the Entertainer. It was stunning to me, and probably to them, that I was the headliner. By the time I danced onto the stage, the audience was so heated up that the room exploded after every phrase I spoke. When the All-Star special aired and the DVD came out with a relatively unknown comedian headlining after all these amazing performers, people started investigating. For some reason, this appearance, the only one out of all these that I didn't want to do, became the thing that propelled me to the next level.
This is how old come up with shit. Okay. Women are so emotional. They discuss everything, Shaq. They can talk. They talk about y'all business. Men, swear to God.
Upon Kevin's performance at the All-Star Comedy Jam special, his career took off. Kevin writes that when he performed at club shows, there was a heightened sense of anticipation. He was no longer seen as some unknown comedian. He was now seen as Kevin Hart. From there, Kevin would be booked and busy. He performed at over 55 colleges, countless comedy clubs, and really built himself up as a comedian while working on material for his second special. But with Kevin's career on the rise, tension in his marriage worsened. According to Kevin, Tori had become jealous, bitter, and resentful, and no longer wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Instead, Tori wanted what Kevin had, success as a stand-up comedian. She had first dabbled in it in August 2008, but by 2009, Tori was determined and committed to give it a try. When Tori broke the news to Kevin, he was less than thrilled. In his book, he writes, "All Tori talked about was how she was going to make it as a stand-up comedian and get a television show and write a book and do it much quicker than my dumb self. She soon started trying to insert herself into any opportunity I had. She put in the work. She wrote jokes, went to open mics, but then she wanted to open up for me. It's never good when there's competition in the relationship."
Tori Hart started doing comedy, doing stand-up. Tori, you started about, when, a couple months ago?
August 2008.
And what's it been like since you got started in comedy?
It's been good. I like it, yeah.
Tell us about your first experience. What made you decide that you wanted to go up on stage?
Wow, let me see. Actually, first time I ever went on stage, I kind of was pushed on stage. I went down there I knew I wanted to do it, but I froze up when I got down there. And the person I went with, my cousin, he's just like, we already down here. You're going to get up there. You're going to do it. And so the last minute I said, okay, I'm going to go up there. And I kind of froze up a little bit because I didn't expect Tony Rock to be in the open mic audience. Damon Wayans Jr. was in the audience. And another comic, Ocean, they're pretty big comics that are on the circuit. And so I froze up just because I saw them my first time, and I'm just like, I got to perform my first time in front of these guys. And then I just said, fuck it, I'm just going to do it. And I did it, and it was great. I wanted to do it and keep doing it ever since.
Kevin, you're shaking your head. When she first jumped up and started doing comedy, how were you feeling when she decided to tell you she wanted to do stand-up comedy? What were your thoughts?
I wasn't here. She called me and told me. So my thoughts is that's good. If you're doing something that you want to do it, As long as you're going to be serious about it, go and do it. She's taking it serious. I said, that's good. Being productive. You can't knock nobody for being productive.
How do you feel about her not only just doing stand-up comedy, how do you feel about having two people in the household now about to be entertainers?
I don't have a feeling about it. If that's what she wants to do, I support her. That's my wife. So it's not about being entertainers or two people in the household doing something. You're an adult. And as an adult, if you choose to do something and be serious about it, you should do it. So there's no feeling. No, that won't be in this household. Okay. We're going to do something. We support each other in what we do. That's what you're supposed to do.
Sorry, Kevin's on stage often. Mm-hmm. He talks about his household, about what goes on with him and his wife as part of his routine. What are your thoughts about him doing it, his routine on stage, about his wife, his kids? How do you feel about it?
I like it. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a problem with it. Because, he used to call me, you know what, honestly, he used to call me crazy on, when he would do a routine. It's like I talked in a third person. And really him talking about me on stage kind of got me wanting to get on stage and just give my point of view. Because I just felt like after some of his shows, people would come up to me like, Tori, is that really you? And I'm just like, to a certain extent it is. But I kind of wanted to get up there and let people know who I am. Because I felt like I knew myself, better than how he was saying it on stage. But so I would say hearing him talk about me kind of wanted me to get on stage too. It motivated me to want to get on stage too.
Now, is the motivation focused on getting people on stage to see your side of the conversation or what Kevin's talking about? Or is it more like really just a routine? How?
At first, I would say yeah. At first, when I first started, I definitely would say that. But then when I got up there and really started liking it and loving it, it's like right now I'm thinking like, okay, where can I get on stage tonight? Because I just want to be on the stage. So it's like, that was the main, focus of it when I first started. But now I don't want to stop doing it.
Kevin, it's never happened before in the history of comedy. Has there ever been a husband and wife team to stand up and start both doing stand-up comedy? Never happened. What is the comics who you deal with on a regular basis? Have they been supportive of your wife to you being on stage, or are they trying to talk to you and say, Kev, maybe you should tell her not to do it? What's basically going on?
No, I mean, what you have to understand is it's not a team. It's not a comedy team. When you're doing stand-up comedy, it's what you're doing. Stand-up comedy is about being an individual. And that's what's great about stand-up comedy. You're being yourself. Nobody can tell you what to do or what not to do. So with her going on stage, the comics aren't supporting me and supporting her, supporting her. What she's doing, you can't attach to me. She's, like I said, she's an individual. She's a grown woman and she wants to do this for her. She's not doing it for me. So that's really important for people to understand that she's trying to do something on her own and not attach herself to what it is that I'm doing. So when they support, me, they're supporting me. If they support my wife, I want them to support my wife. I don't want you to say, yo, man, I saw your wife and I said this to her because of you. That's not good because that's not helping her, in her craft.
Is she asking you pointers when she's doing comedy? Does she at least come to you and say, Kev, I want to say this joke. I want to do this joke. I want to do this routine. Does she come to you?
Yeah, she asks me stuff. And if I can help her, I help her. If she wants my help, I'll help her. But like I said, she's trying to do it on her own. Mm-hmm. This is good. This is Tori's thing. That's what's good about it.
Shortly after Tori decided that she wanted to pursue stand-up, Kevin decided that their marriage had run its course. According to Kevin, he no longer wanted to contribute to an unhealthy relationship and made the choice to walk away. It was 2009, and Kevin was 30 years old. Following his separation, Kevin went back on the road to prepare for his second comedy special. According to Kevin, because he was selling out 250 capacity shows, his manager and business partner Dave Becky suggested they book a theater to film his second special. Kevin rented out the Allen Theater in Cleveland, Ohio to tape Seriously Funny, his follow-up to I'm a Grown Little Man. Like his first special, Seriously Funny was a hit. Comedy Central would purchase the show and release it on DVD on July 20th, 2010. Upon the success of his tour, Kevin went back on the road for his third comedy special, Laugh at My Pain. While on tour, Kevin would bump into a man that would offer him his biggest role yet. His name was Will Packer, and he was a prominent producer in the industry. According to Kevin, Will had a role for him that would set him on the road to stardom. In his book, Kevin writes, "One morning, I was at the Los Angeles airport waiting for a flight to a Laugh at My Pain show when a cocky guy with a great big wall of teeth came up to me. Hey, Kevin," he stuck out his hand. "I'm a movie producer and I've had a lot of success, and I'd love to sit down with you for a second."
Will Packer saw me at an airport. Once again, accidental success. I just so happened to be coming while Will Packer's gone. At the time, Will Packer did Stomp the Yard. I believe that he did Takers. I believe that Takers was the movie with Idris Elba.
T.I.
T.I. I think that was his other one.
Yeah.
And he had another one. He had one more that he did with Clint Culpepper and Screen Gems. And he said, "Dude, I got a movie for you. I heard about all the stuff that you're doing on the road and comedy. I got a movie called Think Like a Man." Keep in mind, I've been doing all these little guest spots in these movies, but nothing's sticking. Along Came Polly, Scary Movie 3, 4. I mean, I'm just in shit. Like,
Along Came Polly was funny.
It's funny, but I'm just in it. Like, it's not like I'm an actor in it. I'm just in it. Like, these are all blurbs and moments. I'm like, well, this is what it's going to be. I'm going back to comedy because this don't look like it's going to be it. Will Packer, I thought he was just another producer talking. Calls me back. Think Like a Man, and you want to do it? I'm in.
As Packer worked out the logistics for Think Like a Man, Kevin was traveling across the country, performing his third comedy special. In June of 2011, Kevin would begin filming Think Like a Man with a star-studded cast. When filming ceased for the movie, Kevin released Laugh at My Pain on September 9th, 2011, across AMC theaters. In its first week, Laugh at My Pain sold $2 million in tickets and would go on to earn more than $7 million at the box office. Kevin was on fire, and things for the comedian would just keep getting hotter. When Think Like a Man premiered on April 20th, 2012, it was a hit, thrusting Kevin further into the spotlight. Think Like a Man was number 1 at the box office on its opening weekend. With a budget of $12 million, Think Like a Man earned over $90 million, twice what the industry predicted. The combined success of Laugh at My Pain and Think Like a Man put Kevin on the map and showed the head honchos in Hollywood that he was a good investment. Kevin writes, "It was not just an unbelievable success. It was a new beginning. And after hundreds of Hollywood meetings and auditions and pitches, it all happened because of a guy I ran into at the airport. It had taken 7 years of touring to work my way back to becoming a newcomer in Hollywood. The difference was that before I was a newcomer with a dream, now I was a newcomer with the leverage of an audience. Suddenly, the people who didn't want to meet with me after Soul Plane and The Big House wanted to have lunch. The seeds I'd planted over the years grew into offers, and the people who rejected me forgot they'd ever turn me down. There were times when I'd sit in a meeting thinking, I'm not new. I've been here for years. Y'all don't remember? I was in here auditioning and you cut me off and said, okay, that's enough, sir."
Think Like a Man was $12 million. This is the information that people don't know and don't have. There's this assumption that these fucking opportunities just come out the woodwork. It was $12 million from Screen Gems. And Think Like a Man, I think I probably got, I don't know, I may have gotten paid. Shouts out to Packer. I think I probably got like close to $1 million for that movie. This was one of my first big paydays for a movie. It's somewhere in that space. If I'm not exact, I apologize. But the movie of $12 million went on to do $90 million. The movie only came from Steve Harvey's book. Steve Harvey's book, which was just a book deal that Steve had, just so happened to become the biggest book. The stars lined up for these two things that were just business opportunities for the people at hand. Steve saying, I want to write a book, and this is my idea to write a book. Steve didn't know that he would come out and be a #1 selling author, and this book would go on to be one of the biggest things that he could attach himself to. He could go on to write other books. Steve didn't know that the producer would come up and say, I want to make this a movie, and then they went and got Screen Gems to agree, and Screen Gems said, we'll do it, but it has to be a very smart budget because we're not going to put out a crazy risk where we don't know what the reward would be. Well, guys, we want you to do it because look at the success of the book. People know the title. We think we can win here. I don't know, guys. Let me do the groundwork, and I'll come back to you. Will Packer did it, comes back with a plan. He's got a group of actors and actresses that can participate for a fee that's smart that the studio jumped up to. Okay, movie does $90 million. All of a sudden, Kevin Hart on the big screen makes sense now because they made money. So me and Will go, well, what do? We got to get another idea. We go find another idea. We go back to a different studio. Hey, Ride Along has been around for a long time. Kev, Ice Cube is a package. We think we can do the movie for smart money. It's $20-some million. None of these things were astronomical investments for the studio. Ride Along does $150 million. Now,
great movie.
Now the conversation of Kevin Hart and business in the entertainment is proven. So now the opportunities for stardom or leading man positioning, it's based off of fucking revenue attached to business decision.
Following the success of Think Like a Man, Kevin was in popular demand. His manager's phone was ringing off the hook. Jobs were rolling in. Articles were being written about him. And before he knew it, Kevin had several movies lined up and was planning his 4th comedy special, Let Me Explain. Upon its release on July 3rd, 2013, Let Me Explain brought in $32 million and reached number 8 at the box office. In addition to this film being such a commercial success, it was also the project that Kevin says confirmed to him that he had finally made it. In his book, he writes, "We taped the show at Madison Square Garden in New York City on 2 separate nights. I reached out to 3 of the people I most admired, Jay-Z, Chris Rock, and Keith Robinson. They were all down, except Keith, who had better things to do." Chris congratulated me, then shared some advice. He said, "It's a big world, so don't get stuck performing over and over for just one small piece of it. Get out of America and tell your jokes to the world." As I was in my dressing room with Chris, Jay-Z walked in, wearing 3 gold chains to my 1. "This is a big moment for you." He nodded his head approvingly. "A big moment. You know how I know it's a big moment? Because I'm here," he said.
Is it true Hov came to your first show at the Garden, and backstage he goes, "How does it feel?" And you said, "Oh, it feels good to play the Garden." He goes, "Nah, I'm talking about me being here."
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Listen,
How did you answer that?
100%. The funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm there. He's like, "Yo, Kevin, I'm coming." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna take care of you when you coming." He's like, "I'll be there first shows. I'm doing the Garden. I sold out the 2 shows. I told my people, like, yo, Young coming. Let's make sure that we set it up for him when he get here. I don't want to have no problems. Make sure his seats, whatever he needs, is good." He gets there. He comes to the backstage. We talking for a minute. My dad is there, right? My dad is like standing behind me. So a whole shake my head. He's like, "How's it feel, yo?" I was like, "Man, what do you mean? You talking about the Garden? Like, dude, I sold out the Garden twice." No. To have me come. How's that? Like, you want to say something, but then think about it. Really think about the question.
Right.
He's like, "That means you made it. I'm here."
Yeah, that's how we felt when he came to Powerhouse.
Yo, it's like, you can say what you want. You can say what you want. But he deserves that. Right. He deserves he's talking trash and being funny.
Jay-Z's stamp of approval provided Kevin the respect and recognition he desired. Prior to the release of Let Me Explain, Kevin made his hosting debut on Saturday Night Live on March 2nd, 2013. It was an emotional night for the comedian as he returned to the very place that had once rejected him early on in his career. But Kevin's SNL performance would be something that comedian Cat Williams took issue with in the years to come. Following SNL, Kevin would make headlines when in April of that year, he was arrested and charged with a DUI. This arrest was one of the lowest points in Kevin's life. He had worked so hard to get to where he was at, and he was on the verge of throwing it all away. In his book, he writes, "As my career soared, my relationship with alcohol worsened. Money was coming in, but it was quickly being spent on drugs and alcohol. But despite what you may be thinking right now, I didn't have a drinking problem. Drinking had a problem with me. The difference is that someone with a drinking problem abuses alcohol. Alcohol impairs people in different ways, and with me, it impaired my ability to tell that I was drunk. No matter how many shots I did, I still thought I was sober. Because of this, I'd get behind the wheel after a few drinks and think that I was completely sober and perfectly fine to drive. The best thing that ever happened to me was getting a DUI."
I got arrested for resisting arrest last night. DUI. What else, baby? Is that pretty much it?
What preempted it? Like, you were, because like the police report says that you were driving in excess of 90 miles an hour on the freeway. You almost hit a gas tanker. Is there any truth to that?
I don't think there's a gas tanker on the freeway. So
what?
The truth to that.
And
No. What happened was yesterday I got pulled over. What did you say? No, definitely not true. Got pulled over last night. Gave me the whole test. Passed the test. Officer then gave me the breathalyzer. Failed the breathalyzer. I said, "Look, it's fine. I'm drunk. I get it. Do what you got to do."
Right.
My girl was with me. I said, "Look, just make sure she gets home safe." With that being said, told her, well, she's got to figure it out. I said, well, that's weird because my house is up the street. Got pulled over maybe an exit before mine. I said, well, at least let her take my car, go home.
What was the resisting arrest part? Because
Officer tried to put handcuffs on my wrists and my watch was here. And I said, wait, let me take my watch off. And he said, you're resisting arrest. I said, stop. Let me take my watch off. You're resisting arrest. They then threw me down and did what they do.
Man.
I laugh at it though.
Right, yeah. No, I know it happens to people, dude.
That's
you know.
where I get material from.
Right, there you go, man. I'm sure you'll recover. You're gonna be great.
I was actually drunk, so there's no arguing that.
Right, yeah. No, I feel you, brother. Hey, take care, man, all right? Bye-bye.
Following his DUI, Kevin vowed to reevaluate his relationship with alcohol. He concluded that he would no longer drink and drive. Though this was a trying time in his life, Kevin had much support from his girlfriend, model Aniko Parrish, whom he had been dating since 2009. Upon finalizing his divorce from Tori back in November of 2011, Kevin and Aniko moved in together. According to Kevin, Aniko was the complete opposite of his ex-wife. He writes that she was loving, nurturing, and extremely supportive. In August 2014, after 5 years of dating, Kevin popped the question and asked Aniko for her hand in marriage. Aniko, of course, said yes. The couple wed on August 13, 2016, in front of family and friends. Following his nuptials, Kevin released his 5th comedy special titled, What Now? The What Now tour was the highest grossing comedy tour in history, with Kevin Hart performing not just in the United States, but also in Africa and the Middle East. In addition to Kevin's stand-up success, he continued to release blockbuster hits and maintain a winning streak. But in 2017, Kevin's personal life would make headlines when his wife, who was 7 months pregnant at the time, found herself in hot water. After making an Instagram post celebrating her and Kevin's first-year wedding anniversary, Aniko suffered backlash when fans noticed that the model wrote that she and Kevin had been together for 8 years. Commenters were quick to remind Aniko that Kevin hadn't finalized his divorce from Tori until 6 years ago. Aniko responded to one fan who pointed out the discrepancy, saying, quote, "Their marriage was broken way before I came into the picture. They were separated, living in separate homes. I was never a secret." In another comment, Aniko claimed that the cheating rumors, which initially came out back in 2011, were spread by Tori. Quote, "These rumors were spread by Tori years ago because she wanted to play the victim and not own up to her wrongdoing as well. I never wrecked any home." Tori would then get involved and reply to Aniko saying, quote, "Aniko, sweetheart, normally I don't feed into this, but when you addressed me directly, you forced my hand to respond. We have made successful strides to become a loving, co-parenting family, but you have now left it open for my character to be questioned. You, Kevin, and I know the truth. Either respond truthfully or don't respond at all." It's important to note that Kevin has been adamant that he never cheated on Tori with Aniko. Tori, on the other hand, asserts that Aniko was, in fact, Kevin's mistress.
Tori, what went wrong in your marriage?
I feel like infidelity, definitely infidelity.
Is he with the person that he cheated on you with?
He is.
How does that make you feel when you see him taking the woman that he cheated on you with to all of these red carpets?
I never lashed out. I never tried to punch her in the face, even though I've had moments where, trust and believe, I wanted to KO her ass.
Now, Tori is claiming that Aniko broke up their 7-year marriage. Kevin's a friend of mine, so I spoke to him, and he said he wishes Tori nothing but the best and hopes that she can find happiness like he did.
I'm tearing up now because, you know, it does hurt that my kids have to be around a woman who broke up a marriage. When you have your kids saying, "Mommy, you know, what happened?" I was with him when he was selling sneakers, $5 an hour. I was at every show. I was at his first show where he ever did stand-up. I pushed him. I would be there. I would help him reenact. I was his muse. I mean, I was there from the beginning.
Kevin is now a box office powerhouse worth a reported $50 million. His mega success could be one reason Tori requested last year to increase her child support payments from $23,000 to $90,000 a month, but that request was shot down by the courts.
Tori and Kevin were college sweethearts in Philadelphia and married before Kevin became a big star.
When I met him, he was selling sneakers. He's starting to get fame, and I'm kind of feeling like, okay, well, feeling a little left behind. You know, we grew apart.
In his comedy act, Hart even uses his indiscretions from his first marriage for laughs.
Yes, people, I cheated. Am I ashamed of it? No. No, I'm not. Do I wish that I could take it back? No. No, I don't.
I have an ex-husband who has repeatedly used me in his stand-up routines. You know, for years I had to endure that.
After her divorce, Tori rebuilt her life, launching a hair product line named Heavenly Heart after her and Kevin's daughter. They also have a son, Hendrix. Tori says she also tried to stay on friendly terms with her ex. Here they all are on the red carpet. That was until Hart's new wife, Aniko Parrish, posted this photo on Instagram, gushing, 8 years together, 1 year married, forever to go. But Kevin and Tori divorced only 6 years ago. So how is it possible she'd been with Kevin for 8 years?
Did Aniko start dating Kevin while you guys were married?
According to her dates, yes.
Aniko claimed they were separated, living in separate homes. I was never a secret.
I was like, what? Never a secret. She said that we were separated and not living together. That's a lie. We were very much not separated.
I didn't fuck up my first marriage. Stop it. Stop the talk. I don't like people bringing up my first marriage. I left my first marriage. I got a divorce. I filed. I'm the one that said, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy. The infidelity and shit was because we were both off. We're done. So I walked away from it.
If you read the book, you see that.
You know that. People that are really following me and invested, you know that. That's not f***ing up. You can go look up anything in history. You've never heard me bad talk my kid's mother.
Right.
My ex-wife. Never. I don't do it. It's not my character. Never. But in her most emotional time, she lashed out against Nico. So those titles of home wrecker, mistress, all that stuff was put out and portrayed from a image that wasn't true. So when people try to run with that, that woman didn't have nothing to do with my marriage. That woman didn't have nothing to do with me leaving my wife. Nothing. I'm separated. You got to be legally separated to file for a divorce. I was legally separated for a year before I even filed for a divorce. I had tons of women during that time. Me and my wife stuck. We stuck. So the image that was attempted to be put on this woman's back wasn't a fair image. And that's what I don't like. I don't like that because she's not that. She's nothing near that.
Shortly after this controversy, Kevin and Aniko would find themselves in another scandal. 2 months before Aniko was set to give birth, reports that an explicit tape of Kevin having intercourse with an unknown woman began circulating. After TMZ put out a report that someone was threatening to release the tape, Kevin posted the following video to Instagram.
I'm at a place in my life where I feel like I have a target on my back, and because of that, I should make smart decisions. And recently, I didn't. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I am or claim to be in any way, shape, or form. And I made a bad error in judgment and put myself in an environment where only bad things can happen, and they did. And in doing that, I know that I'm going to hurt the people closest to me, who I've talked to and apologized to, being my wife and my kids. And I just, it's a shitty moment. It's a shitty moment when you know you're wrong, and there's no excuses for your wrong behavior. At the end of the day, man, I just simply got to do better. But I'm not going to also allow a person to have financial gain off of my mistakes. And in this particular situation, that's what was attempted.
According to reports, the extortionist threatened to release the tape if they did not receive payment from the comedian. They also claimed that this wasn't the first time Kevin had been unfaithful to his wife, and that they'd been trying to expose him for quite some time. After reports came out claiming that the woman in the video was behind the extortion, the woman in question hired a lawyer and made a public statement denying these claims.
She's the woman at the center of the Kevin Hart extortion scandal.
I'm not an extortionist. I'm not a stripper.
27-year-old Montia Sabag is speaking out today and defending her name.
I was involved with Kevin Hart a month ago. Since then, my pictures and my name have been released with lies written about me.
She and Hart were secretly videotaped getting intimate in a room at the Cosmopolitan Hotel in Las Vegas. The popular comedian and actor claims someone tried to extort a reported $10 million by threatening to release the tape. But Sabag says she knew nothing about the plot.
I had nothing to do with these recordings. I'm truly sorry for any involvement that I had in this.
Sabag is an aspiring singer and actress. Here she is dancing in a video she posted on Instagram. She says she and Hart got together in Las Vegas a month ago. Her attorney, Lisa Bloom.
Montia had a relationship over a period of days about a month ago with Kevin Hart in Las Vegas.
This new revelation could cause even more problems for Hart. It turns out his wife Aniko's 33rd birthday was a month ago, August 18th. The weekend he was partying with Sabag, Hart posted this sexy photo of his wife on Instagram with the message, "Happy B-Day to my fine wife. Sheesh, how'd I get so lucky? I love you to death." Hart and his wife seem to be trying to work things out. They were spotted having lunch together in Los Angeles on Wednesday.
Kevin, are you guys going to work it out together?
Appreciate you guys. What'd you have for lunch, Kevin?
Over the weekend, Hart publicly apologized to his family for his indiscretions in Vegas.
Doing that, I know that I'm going to hurt the people closest to me, who I've talked to and apologized to.
According to People magazine, his wife, who is 7 months pregnant, is standing by him. Quote, "There is absolutely no divorce talk." Lawyer Lisa Bloom is suggesting Kevin Hart team up to go after the blackmailers.
He's the victim of a crime. She's the victim of a crime. We're going to law enforcement to catch the criminal who did this.
Upon their investigation, law enforcement arrested a man by the name of J.T. Jackson in May of 2018. J.T. Jackson was an actor, comedian, and longtime friend of Kevin's. Upon his arrest, Jackson was initially charged with 1 count each of attempted extortion and extortion by threatening letter. According to reports, prosecutors amended the criminal complaint to charge Jackson with 1 count of extortion by threatening letter, along with 2 counts of identity theft and 1 count of attempted concealing, selling, or withholding of stolen property. With the criminal case underway, Kevin attempted to restore his marriage with Aniko, as they had welcomed their first child together in October of 2017. According to Kevin, he loved his wife and vowed to never betray her again.
I rightfully stand in front of my fuck up, hands in the air. I'm guilty. Regardless of how it happened and what was involved and that I can't talk about, I'm guilty. I'm wrong. Me being wrong, I'm going to face the music. I'm going to go home. I'm going to address it. I'm going to make my wife full aware of what's going on and the situation that I have now put us in. And I'm hoping that she has a heart to where she can forgive me and understand that this is not going to be a reoccurring thing and allow me to recover from my fucking massive mistake. That's what I'm trying to do, not only as a man, but within teaching a lesson to my son. If you do something wrong, stand in front of your wrong shit. Don't run away from it. This was dad's wrong shit. Here's the difference, though, okay? It's a difference between fucking up and trying to recover from a fuck up because you realize what you almost lost. See, that's the real difference here. You know, I don't feed into, the people. Granted, I am very much in front of the world. I am in front of everybody. I am on a platform where I have volunteered to put my life on display. So I'm never going to complain about the negative shit that comes from it. You're going to have good shit, you're going to have bad shit. But the reality is, Kevin fucked up again. Oh my God, again. This time, granted, I fucked up. But in fucking this up, I'm like, I got to repair this because this is what I want. This is my foundation. This is my wife, my kids. This is... I worked for this. There's 9+ years into this. God damn. All right, babe, this is bad on all accounts, but I gotta fix it, and I'm gonna work to fix it. That's the difference. As a man, when you wanna work to fix it, and you wanna fight for what you have, and the fact that I have a prize in finding me what I feel is a fucking amazing woman, a woman that I'm lucky to call my wife, lucky to have put up with the that she put up and still allow me to say that I'm her husband. That's an amazing quality that she has that I bow down to. So the fact that people try to take that quality away and diminish her character, that's where I almost lost it for a second.
Were you afraid that distress would affect the pregnancy at all?
That's where you got to step in as a man.
Yeah.
That's where you got to step in as a man. I was shooting a movie at the time. I shut down production, and I was like, all right, I'm coming. I'm shutting down. I'm coming to get you. We went to Atlanta for a while, and we shut down. And, you know, we talk. If you have a union, you know, that's when you get checked. That's when the bond of your union will be questioned. Nobody's perfect. Find the perfect man so I can talk to him. I want to talk to him.
Despite the personal challenges Kevin faced, his career was thriving. When it was announced in December of 2018 that he would be hosting the 2019 Oscars, Kevin was over the moon, as this was a lifelong goal of his. But within hours of this announcement, Twitter users began reposting Kevin's former tweets and jokes as they accused him of being homophobic.
My biggest fears is my son growing up and being gay. That's a fear.
Earlier on Thursday, Hart tried to explain himself in another video on Instagram.
Guys, I'm almost 40 years old. If you don't believe that people change, grow, evolve as they get older, I don't know what to tell you.
Upon the backlash, critics called for the comedian to apologize. After 2 days of online scrutiny, Kevin finally broke his silence and posted the following video to Instagram.
So I just got a call from the Academy, and that call basically said, Kevin, apologize for your tweets of old, or we're going to have to move on and find another host. I'm not going to do it, man. I'm going to be me. I'm going to stay in my ground.
Kevin's Instagram post led to more online anger, which then sparked a debate over whether or not he owed the LGBTQ community an apology. Just 1 day after posting his Instagram statement, Kevin stepped down from hosting the Oscars. In a tweet, he wrote, "I have made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars. This is because I do not want to be a distraction on a night that should be celebrated by so many amazing, talented artists. I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words from my past. I am evolving and want to continue to do so. My goal is to bring people together, not tear us apart."
Just 2 days after being named host of the 2019 Academy Awards, comedian and actor Kevin Hart is stepping down from his duties. There's been an outcry over his past homophobic tweets, and Hart says he doesn't want to be a distraction. CTV's Aaron Paul is following this story for us today. Aaron, this is a real shocker and a real swift turn of events for Kevin Hart, who said it was one of his life goals to host the Academy Awards.
Exactly. Just on Tuesday, to your point, Marcia, he called this an opportunity of a lifetime. But things certainly have changed. The Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences giving Hart an ultimatum. This is shortly after announcing him as the host of the 2019 Oscars. So what type of tweets are we talking about? Well, many have been deleted, but screenshots of them have been widely circulated on the internet. One, for example, says, "If my son tries to play with my daughter's dollhouse, I'm going to break it over his head and say in my voice, 'Stop, that's gay.'" Earlier in his career, Hart's stand-up specials often included jokes about homosexuality, several of them deemed homophobic. Marcia.
So we know now that he has said sorry, but he initially wasn't so apologetic. And I just have to say, as someone rightly pointed out in our morning meeting, wouldn't the Academy have looked into all this stuff?
Everything is out there. It's on the internet. Wouldn't you be clearly vetting your host? Because we've seen so much of this in this day and age. Absolutely. So certainly some blame to be put on the Academy. But meantime, Hart did initially defend his position on Instagram up until Thursday, saying that his critics should stop being negative about his earlier anti-gay remarks and that he had grown and he had changed. So far, though, silence from the Academy. In fact, their Twitter page still full of retweets of Kevin Hart's hosting announcement and how excited the community was about that.
Okay,
Time
Academy, you're a beat behind the rest of us here, clearly, on a number of different levels.
I'll keep watching that website and tell you any updates
please do.
that we see.
And I personally am distracted by the fact that I think he now wears diamond necklaces to bed.
In the months that followed, Kevin would be encouraged by various celebrities to reconsider his decision. Despite the encouragement, Kevin called critics, quote, haters and online trolls, and reaffirmed that he was no longer interested in hosting the gig. In later years, Kevin would express his regret in how he handled the situation by saying, "You need to learn how to stop and think. In the end, I missed an opportunity to say simply that I don't condone any type of violence in any way, shape, or form to anyone for being who they are. I effed up. Instead, I said, I addressed it. I said, I apologized. I said, I talked about this already." Following his Oscars controversy, Kevin concluded his 6th comedy tour, Irresponsible. The Irresponsible tour was a reflection of Kevin's life in recent years that had many highs and many lows. Like his previous tours, Irresponsible was a hit. It would become the highest-selling comedy tour at that time, making Kevin the first U.S. comedian to sell 1 million tickets in less than 6 months. In terms of his career, Kevin was on a roll. But as he was gearing up to release his Netflix documentary, Don't F This Up, Kevin would have a near-death experience when his car crashed in the Malibu Hills of California.
Along Mulholland Highway in the Malibu Hills, a frantic 911 caller tries to calm car crash survivors. That car belonging to comedian Kevin Hart.
Help's coming, guys. Don't worry. The ambulance is on the way. You guys okay in there? Stay calm. Help's coming.
The CHP says around 12:45 Sunday morning, Hart's 1970 Plymouth Barracuda rolled off the side of the highway. 2 of 3 passengers were pinned in the car.
The roof is crushed, and the car is pretty total. The door smashed in. The A-pillar is crushed into the front of the dash.
The initial report says when the CHP arrived, Hart had left the scene to get medical attention at his nearby home. It states 28-year-old Jared Black was found in the driver's seat, and another passenger, Rebecca Brocksterman, was trapped in the car. But the 911 call from the witness appears to describe Hart as the driver.
Is everybody in the vehicle awake?
Yeah, they're both awake. Sounds like the passenger's stuck in the car. The driver is out of the car.
About an hour and a half later, at 2:13 a.m., a second 911 call is made from Hart's Calabasas home by an unidentified woman. She's asking for an ambulance for Hart and says he was in a crash just minutes before.
Hi, this is an accident. I just need to know who's on. I need someone to come get him.
Thank you. And he's at a house, apartment, or business right now?
Yes, he's in the house.
Okay, how long ago did the accident happen, though? How long? I mean, a couple of hours ago, or when?
Like 20 minutes ago, outside of our gated community. I don't know what happened.
Okay, but
he's not coherent at all.
Did he get treatment originally from when he was injured? Did he go to the hospital, or?
No treatment at all. We're just here, and he can't move.
Is there any obvious broken bones that you can tell? You see anything broken?
Something on his back is pulling out on his spine, and I'm not sure.
Hart is now in the hospital recovering from serious back injuries. Black is also in the hospital with serious injuries. Brocksterman was not hurt.
The CHP says they're aware of the 911 calls and they're currently conducting interviews, but they also say they can't jump to any conclusions about what exactly happened until they conduct a thorough investigation.
Upon this accident, Kevin suffered severe back injuries that left him partially paralyzed for a period of time. Over the years, there's been much speculation and questions as to what exactly occurred on the night of the incident. According to law enforcement, the driver, Jared Black, lost control of the vehicle after sudden acceleration. The car spun out of control, going through a fence and into an embankment. Despite fracturing his spine in 3 places, Kevin walked almost a mile home, where his wife Eniko called for medical assistance. The other 2 occupants received medical treatment at the scene and were later taken to the hospital. Upon this accident, Kevin would endure an intensive recovery process that involved challenging physical therapy to regain mobility. According to Kevin, this accident prompted him to do some inner work and self-reflect.
Hart posted a personal look at the challenges he's faced after a September car crash. Amy is here with the video. Hey, Amy.
That's right. Good morning, guys. This is the first time we're hearing from the actor since that dramatic crash in California. And this morning, he has a message saying he is thankful for his life and for all of those who have helped him get to this point.
Basically, what you realize is that you're not in control. No matter how much you think you're in control, you're not in control. And at the end of the day, it can all be over, man.
Actor and comedian Kevin Hart had to be hospitalized.
2 other people had to be cut out of the car when it rolled off the road down an embankment.
You know, when God talks, you gotta listen. And I swear life is funny. Because some of the craziest things that happen to you end up being the things that you needed most. And in this case, I honestly feel like God basically told me to sit down. You know, when you're moving too fast and you're doing too much, sometimes you can't see the things that you're meant to see. But after my accident, I see things differently. I see life from a whole new perspective. And my appreciation for life is through the roof. I'm thankful for my family, my friends. I'm thankful for the people that simply ride with me and that have been with me because you stood by me. My fans. Thankful for all of your love and support. So don't take today for granted because tomorrow's not promised. More importantly, I'm thankful for God. I'm thankful for life. For simply still being here. The road to being a bigger and better version of me. Looking forward to an amazing 2020.
Following a very tumultuous year, Kevin would go on to release several movies along with a Netflix special in 2020. He would also still be dealing with legal issues pertaining to the attempted extortion case from 2017. Montia Sabag sued Kevin and JT Jackson after accusing them of working together to create and share the explicit tape to promote Kevin's irresponsible tour. Montia's case against Kevin and JT would be dismissed on a technicality. According to reports, Montia failed to properly serve Kevin, therefore the judge tossed out the case. In September 2020, Kevin and Aniko welcomed their second child together. With Kevin's health on the mend, he released his 7th comedy special on Netflix titled 0 F's Given. Over the next few years, Kevin continued to pump out content, build successful businesses, and prove that he was still a moneymaker in Hollywood. But in 2023, Kevin's name would make headlines when comedian Cat Williams did an interview on Club Shay Shay, where he called out the star for being a, quote, gatekeeper and industry plant. Cat challenged Kevin's rise to fame and implied that it wasn't as genuine and authentic as Kevin claims. He insinuated that Kevin only got to where he's at because he sold his soul for fame. Here's what Cat Williams had to say.
No one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is? Maybe people don't understand the definitions of these words. He just did his documentary with Chris Rock where he shows you that his whole upbringing in comedy was on the East Coast.
Yeah, it was.
So how simultaneously was he here in Los Angeles doing the same thing? It didn't happen. It didn't happen. And I hate to seem like a petty individual for picking apart lies, but Jussie Smollett gonna keep lying until you say we don't believe you. Do you know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
It's to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? if what I say ain't the case. It's a cabal. It's a consortium. They rock with who they rock with, and they don't with who they don't. Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. Like, it's like that. Why? Why?
Yes.
Because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. For a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk, that all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was. And acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard, but...
Will there ever be another Comic View, Def Comedy Jam? Could that, in today, in 24, 25, 26, could we see that again?
They've already announced it. It's already going. You didn't know? Yeah, Kevin Hart purchased it, so he's now doing Comic View. That happened at the same time that they gave DC Young Fly Hollywood Squares.
Where?
Yeah, because they tell you that there's no gatekeepers, but we keep seeing the same people open the gate. Didn't Kevin open the gate and let Tiffany in? Don't such and such open the gate? What do you mean ain't no gatekeepers? There's 100 gates out here.
Would you?
Everyone I've seen got a keeper.
Would you have wanted to do Comic View or Def Comedy Jam? Would you have wanted to be?
I think we just mentioned I did them both.
No, I'm saying he purchased the rights and refranchise it.
Nope. They didn't offer it to me anyway. Kevin told you he wasn't gonna wear no dress until they offered him the dress, and then he put it on. And what did he say after he wore it? I made my own decision. Duh. But you didn't make it before they brought it up, did you? It's okay. It's all right.
Cat Williams and Kevin Hart's feud goes back a decade, as the two have traded insults over the years. But in 2016, after insulting Kevin during one of his shows, Cat issued an apology and called Kevin the, quote, reigning king of comedy. 2 years later, however, their feud would be reignited when Cat slammed comedian Tiffany Haddish during an interview by questioning her comedic ability. Kevin didn't appreciate Cat's comments and addressed him directly.
My frustration with Cat Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Cat was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You f***ed off promo shoots. You f***ed off your promo trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios stopped fucking with you.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what? I got to fix me, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to stand up for comedy. So when you say Tiffany Haddish doesn't deserve or isn't really a comedian and these other women have worked hard, which they have. Shouts out to Melanie Camacho. Shouts out to Lunel. Shouts out to Leslie Jones, who are all underneath the umbrella of Cat Williams. Cat Williams, have you ever used your platform to fucking bring the people that were under you up? You haven't. So because you haven't, don't shit on those that now are. I've used my platform and I brought my guys and girls up. The brand of Kevin Hart is a brand that's expanded so far, whether you like me or not. My presence in comedy will forever be felt because I'm a fucking boss. I sit on the top of it, and the opportunities I'm giving are the ones that I'm creating. So take responsibility for what you did. You. Don't blame everybody else for your shit. Don't shit on my sister Light because you're not happy with your shit. This shit's earned. It's not given. I don't give a fuck if you're a Tiffany Haddish fan or not. It's earned. Tiffany Haddish got years in the game. It's not an accident that Tiffany Haddish got an opportunity to star in a movie. It's not an accident that that character popped in the movie. It doesn't matter what he said. It doesn't matter what the apology was.
So you didn't like the apology?
It's not about the apology. And I want to get this very clear. I want to make it very clear. I am sitting on 1.3 million tickets sold. Shouts out to all the comedians that have given me the opportunity to get here because I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without them and their hard work. There is nobody close to me in ticket sales in comedy.
And you on a worldwide tour.
I am worldwide. I am on par with the likes of your Bruno Mars, your Jay-Z, and Beyonce. The people on social media, on the internet, feed into words. You feed into diction. You don't feed into facts. Another fact, a hard fact, Cat Williams did not own all the specials. He trashes the white man. The white man owns your content. You don't own it.
So Cat Williams don't own none of the specials?
False.
Cat Williams wouldn't be the only celebrity to call out Kevin Hart. Back in 2014, during an interview, comedian Mike Epps called the star, quote, overrated. He said, "In this business right here, guess what? Sometimes marketing could be bigger than talent. This business is not about being funny. This business is about being forced on people. You could be forced on people and then be really, really funny. If the business was funny, wouldn't none of these suckers be in it? If business was based on being handsome, wouldn't none of them? Everybody that's rich is ugly." Kevin would respond to Mike's comments by posting several tweets calling out the comedian. In one tweet, he said, "Hey, don't wake up this monster pimp. If you want me to be honest, I'm showing you what you should have did when you had your shot at success. You do clubs and small theaters. I do arenas, man. You do small movies. I do motion pictures and sequels. So go pick a fight with somebody in your league like Chucky Ducky." Kevin Hart would also have issues with comedian Michael Blackson after Blackson poked fun at Kevin's 2017 cheating attempted extortion scandal. Damon Dash would also call out Kevin Hart for not being supportive and promoting his work. In a recent interview, here's what Damon had to say.
Anyone that interviews Kev, and he'll say it, Dame put me in my first movie. Why you won't post this shit? You got to ask those people.
Do you believe that after that movie, that's what, like, Cat Williams calling him a plant? How realistic is that?
I don't know. I mean, he would do things like, for example, they had asked me to produce Soul Plane, and I got offended because I didn't like white people making money off making fun of us. So I was like, yo, you need to watch it.
No offense, like Kev, I've seen plenty of stuff that I with. But Soul Plane, I could never feel comfortable sitting in a movie theater watching people laugh at
us. Yeah.
Us. Like,
so and it's not us doing it. So
just never.
He came through, was like, I'm doing Soul Plane. I'm like, you are? I just walked away from that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would never do that. So, I wouldn't braid another man's hair on a billboard. Like, I wouldn't do that. I don't care if it's Will Ferrell. I don't care who it is.
Right.
So, because it'd just be joke. I wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? So he has done things that I know I didn't raise him to do. But he has a different kind of comedy.
But okay,
I'm not judging
just
him.
being fair, I'm
I
sure
don't
there's
even
things
care.
that Richard Pryor did that you wouldn't do. All right.
But my point is, I'm not judging him. I'm just saying, just repost my shit. I was never mad at him for doing anything he's done. It's just not what I would do. And I'm not mad at him now. But I'd be like, I would be nice if any one of y'all motherfuckers I put on would post my shit.
In addition to Damon Dash, Michael Blackson, Mike Epps, and Cat Williams, Kevin Hart would also get called out by actress and comedian Monique. In a recent interview with Club Shay Shay, here's what Monique had to say.
Now, you know when Cat Williams said gatekeepers?
Yeah.
Kevin Hart, I do his podcast.
Yes.
And I want y'all to re-listen to the podcast so you can hear it for yourself. When he first comes on, he says, "You're like my mother. You're like my aunt. You're like my sister." Okay? Then we do the podcast. We speak about the Tyler Perry situation. Oprah Winfrey, he said, "I don't really know Oprah, but I'm going to reach out to Tyler." I appreciate that. Kevin kept his word. He reached out to Tyler Perry. Kevin Hart called me back about maybe a week or so later. He said, "Mo, I talked to Tyler. He said he don't want to revisit it." He said, "But I tell you what, let's move past that, Mo. Let's just move past that and let's just do great things." So whatever
That's what Kevin said.
I want you to hear me, Kevin Hart. Let's move past that, Mo. Let's do some great things together. Don't even worry about it. Whatever y'all want to do, I will partner with you. I'll executive produce with you. You just let me know what you want to do. Now, let me say that before we go any further because I want to make sure I give Kevin Hart his proper credit. When my family was up against the wall, Kevin Hart wrote us a check and said, "Here you go." We're forever grateful for that. When we were able to give it back, we said, brother, we appreciate you with some interest on top, because I don't ever want nobody to think,
Feel like they
me and my
gave
husband. So I want to make sure I put that out there. That brother really helped us out when we needed to be helped out. Then when he came back with, I got you, I didn't ask Kevin Hart to do anything. He said, I'll executive produce, I'll partner with you. I said, good Kevin, because we're in a deal with Endemol, and we're trying to get our talk show back. Mo, whatever it is, I got you. Now, Kevin Hart is one of the biggest entertainers right now in the world,
Correct.
right? And was then. We got off the phone with Kevin Hart. We called Endemol immediately and said, Kevin Hart said, whatever we want to do, he got us. He's going to partner, executive use. They was like, oh, this is incredible, because when you put Kevin Hart's name on it, you already know what it is.
Correct.
2 weeks go by. We get a call from Endemol. Endemol says, we just got a call from Kevin Hart's manager, Dave Becky. And Dave Becky said, Kevin doesn't want anything to do with Monique. So whatever she told y'all, he doesn't want to do anything with her, nothing. You know, he doesn't want any kind of relationship with Monique.
So what changed between the 2 weeks and plus he gave you a check, you gave the money back, then said he would partner with you, executive produce, whatever you need, Mo, hey, we got you. So what transpired, or what do you think transpired between then that 2 week period?
Well, soon as we got off the phone and they told us what Kevin's manager, David Becky, said, I called Kevin Hart immediately. I said, hey, baby, we just got off the phone with Endemol, and they said Dave Becky called them up and said, you don't want anything to do with me. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication. I can tell you right now. I said, wait a minute. Are you okay, though, with this white man calling them up? Getting in between our relationship after something you said. He said, Mo, that's a miscommunication, and we're going to talk Tuesday. Don't worry about it. I'm telling you right now, it's a miscommunication. That was 2 years ago. If you talk to him, I talk to him. I've never talked back to Kevin Hart again.
Monique's comments about the star would go viral and add to the narrative that Kevin is a gatekeeper. Kevin Hart has been in the business for many years. According to him, he started at the bottom and worked his way up to the top. From performing in bowling alleys and exotic nightclubs to selling out theaters and football stadiums, Kevin Hart has created multi-million-dollar businesses and is the highest-grossing comedian of all time. Despite the career setbacks and personal struggles, like dealing with the death of his father in 2022, Kevin has been able to maintain a solid record in the industry and prove that he is still a powerful figure in Hollywood. So when people call Kevin the gatekeeper, Kevin Hart says this.
When you hear the term gatekeeping or gatekeepers, right? Mm-hmm. It's become, here's what I think. It's become the easy escape. Mm-hmm. The easy escape for what you haven't done or what you're not doing or what you feel you should do is the world of blame. It's the easy escape. I would be doing it, but I can't because the gatekeepers. It's easy. It's very easy for me to say I can't or I'm not because of that. I would easily be doing it. That's why. Because gatekeepers. But it's a very undefined statement. Like, who are the gatekeepers? Who are you actually speaking of when you refer to the gatekeepers? It's like when you hear people say, yeah, I would, but they hating on me. Who is they? Who says that my experience wasn't one filled with lack of opportunity? The business of the business has to make business sense. So if I'm the business, which I am now, so I'm able to look at it from a dual POV. If my business is about investing, if I don't get a return on my investment, well, my business falls. If my business falls and it fails, well, people don't give a shit. People move on to the next business that they feel they can get the opportunity from. So it's only the business's job, and the business is only to protect the entity that they've built or that they're creating. I can't do that without smart investments. Granted, everyone feels like they deserve an opportunity. Everyone feels like they have the thing that it takes to be a star, and you're supposed to. You're supposed to feel that way. But when it comes to me investing my money that is servicing this machine and the jobs in it, my investments have to come in a manner where I'm assuring a return. without the lack of understanding, well, then it just appears that, well, nobody wants me to do anything. Nobody wants to support the thing. Nobody wants to support the new.
And you're like,
That's
no,
not
you
the
have
case.
to show them.
That's not the case.
Mhm.
So it's not until that thing is proven. I mean, I'm now almost 30 years in the business. My first 15, well, I'm figuring it out. And it wasn't until I figured out a way to grow this fan base in stand-up comedy that I went to them and said, hey, you said that you guys need a possibility of return. Here's my ticket sales. Here's what I've worked hard and here's what I've grown for the last 15 years. These people pay money to come see me. I'm putting asses in seats. Why can this not transfer over to box office revenue? Without an ROI, you have a conversation. What's the return on my investment? Wow, these things are multiplying, 5X and 6X. Okay, 10Xing. Wow, Packer, Kevin, you guys really cracked the code on this. How do you keep doing it? Okay, we're gonna figure it out. Now, well, let's start paying the talent more. Let's make sure that we take care of the people that we're working with. Let's find a good group that we can build a rapport with. Shouts out to Tim Story. Shouts out to Packer. Shouts out to goddamn Malcolm Lee. Shouts out, I can go down a list of crazy directors and producers in the beginning stages that were all a part of this plan. Clint Culpepper in the beginning. Like, Donna Langley, Universal. Like, I can go to people that played a very valuable part. Peter Kramer, Ron Meyer. These are people that we sat in rooms with diligently asking for opportunities, but where they had to spell out what the business would be. So when you have the terms gatekeepers or people that are acting as preventative measures for opportunities, I challenge that because it's supposed to be. If you're just throwing out opportunities and you're throwing out money with no return, then how do the businesses succeed? You can't just come to the table willy-nilly with expectations with no plan. Imagine somebody coming to you and saying, hey, look, you're doing all this shit right now, but what you need to do is give Keisha and Tasha a show with you. Well,
I'd say, well, who are Keisha and Tasha?
Who are they?
Yeah.
Girl, they good. But what have they done? Nothing yet. That's what I'm saying. We need you to set them up. Yeah, but how do you think I'll do that? Girl, do it. Do it.
Yeah, it's like, no.
No, well, you're a gatekeeper. You're a gatekeeper. There has to be a duality when it comes to understanding.
Yeah.
If you only look at things through your POV, then you only see what you choose to see.
Yeah.
If you never do the work to understand the POV of that side, well, then things are always going to seem unfair. And I'm saying my education and crash course has only become more clear when I got the position that I'm in now of being a chairman and CEO of a studio. I went and I had to go get money from investors to fund this operation. So this operation has to have not only the return that I promised it would, but I have to secure whatever my business decisions are with the return on the investment. Because if I go and I just off the money that was given to me by giving out all the opportunities of, and I can sell none of it, I can distribute none of it, I can't license any of it, I'm not getting any engagement, I'm not getting any advertising dollars that I can attach to it, do you know what happens at the end of the day? I was a bad chairman, I was a bad CEO, and the business fell. So what's deemed to be the thing of control at times is not mirrored or matched with the level of understanding